5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Tokenization refers to the process of digitally representing and recording an asset using blockchain technology.
The World Economic Forum actually estimates the broader market, the target addressable market for tokenization of assets at 867 trillion.
This eliminates all corruption by having a tokenized system.
The fractionalized real estate potential has probably been the most compelling use case for RWA. This is not going to be in the realm of retail anytime soon either. It's going to be accredited and above.
Stable coins, which are essentially tokenized dollars, it's at 150 billion plus size. So I think that the next more natural asset class to do that was the closest thing to a dollar, which is treasuries, right?
Think of a cryptocurrency as an embedded smart contract in it, and that we can use it to buy and sell real estate and move data. That may have value.
The idea of tokenizing.
Tokenizing things that you do something with.
And you have Blackrock tokenizing on Ethereum, Citibank, JP Morgan tokenizing on Avalanche. There's a lot going on.
In economics, things take longer to happen than you think they will. And when they happen faster than you thought they could.
All right, what an intro. Hello, and everyone, welcome to another much anticipated live stream. Today we have Sanjeev Birari, co-founder and chief business officer of Zoniqx, a leading player tokenizing real-world assets with their groundbreaking technology. Zoniqx is setting a new gold standard for transforming real-world assets into digital assets for the new era of finance. So Sanjeev, just want to say welcome. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you so much, Ray. It's been a pleasure to, in fact, come to on your show. In fact, it's amazing. Yeah, I love the introduction. It's amazing. It's one of the best tokenization AV I've ever seen, actually. So
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. I was up all night making that video just for you. So I'm thrilled that you enjoyed the clip. But I want to kickstart some things with a fun fact, Sanjeev. Obviously I want to dive into all things Zoniqx, but I want to just first talk about you for a hot second, sir. You are, from what I noticed, you help guide the next generation of business students at University of California, Irvine. Understanding you sit on the advisory board for UCI. I love to see that. Just what inspires you to mentor the next generation and help them become, the next C-suite executive of an up and coming fintech startup? I mean,
first of all, it's the mentorship is something which I really love, and then the space we are in, it's evolving space in a very innovative technology. What we have been working on it, right? We've been working on this space since 2017. So I always like to kind of give to the Generation Z and Y that anything which is related to the innovation of this technology, the adoption is more with this new Generation Z and Y, right? I mean, we don't have to push them to kind of get the technology adoption high. So it's automatically they just adopt it because they are so familiar with this whole concept of this innovation. So I see this new generation would definitely be the easy adopters for the new tech. So that's one of the reasons that I always follow them. I always actually do the mentorship for most of these these Ivy Leagues as well. Yeah.
Awesome. I love to hear that. Before we do shift gears, and the reason why I brought that up is I relate to that. I also mentor the entrepreneurship students at Cal State Fullerton. So I really appreciate the fact that you're also giving back while you're also in the trenches, I'm sure 24/7, 365. But a little bit more about you, sir. Do you mind giving us a brief backstory on your journey into the space and the qualifications that make you the right man for the job at Zoniqx as the chief business officer?
Yeah, so I've come from an investment management background. I worked and lived in multiple countries, predominantly more in Dubai, and I used to manage some of the royal family's assets as well. So I've come from an investment management background, and I mean it's an exciting space to be in, and come from the investment management space to actually understand how do we manage the portfolio of ultra HNIs or institutions. You always tend to kind of put more focus on how do we kind of get technology inbuilt with this new future of finance and make it available for everyone who could probably want to have a small pie in, say, Burj Khalifa, or say a Champs-Elysees retail outlet of a Louis Vuitton, right? So something of this sort. So it's always there in my mind, and that's basically because I've come from that particular space and experience what I have, and that's basically what I am in today.
So you're an art guy.
Yeah, yes, of course. I mean, I've come from that space as well. So I mean, it's just a creative mind which pushes me to do this. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, before we dive in today, I do want to highlight the sponsor of today's production. This is DyCIST, the cold storage hardware wallet provider. I actually, full transparency, I use the DyCIST hardware wallet myself. They are a go-to cold storage wallet. And in addition to their hardware wallet, they also have a mobile application. Not only that I can keep and store my digital assets safe from hackers, but I can also delegate various assets. And my favorite part about DyCIST is using the biometric scanner to seamlessly sign transactions with my fingerprint. So check out the very top link in the description of this video for my affiliate link, giving 10% off savings on your very first biometric hardware wallet today. So back to our conversation, Sanjeev. Let's dive now into all things Zoniqx, and thank you again for joining me today. Your team has pioneered a new golden standard for interoperability. You've already tokenized $5 billion in assets, and you recently secured partnerships with Ripple, also with Medico for custody purposes, Coinbase, Hedera, Amazon, Deloitte. Actually, let me put this in perspective for others as well. Give me one moment. I want to show the audience your ecosystem. And like, for instance, you've got Hedera, Polygon, Medico as mentioned, Deloitte. So I don't see PWC. We'll get into that in a minute, but you have some very reputable large corporations. What is exactly attracting these large corporations to Zoniqx technology and ecosystem?
So I think today, if you think about it, right, in terms of what exactly is happening in tokenization space. So tokenization, what we see from Zoniqx perspective is the whole ecosystem what we have developed. So what we call it as a TLM, which is tokenization asset lifecycle management, because there are certain issues which we carved out in terms of what exactly these issues are. So one is the compliance and regulatory complexity, the lack of interoperable and scalable tech, absence of liquidity and distribution, fragmented siloed markets, and zero investor discovery. If you see multiple blockchain, so it's kind of a spaghetti of blockchains, I'm being very honest. So what we actually find out is, how do we address this situation? So basically, how do we address this, these issues, which could probably, we could probably make it simplify, for any issuer to use the platform, which is like the first to start with, the compliance and the regulatory complexity. So what we built for a solution from Zoniqx is a global compliance engine, which is called Completo, which is actually in our standard called DyCIST. So there's a lack of interoperable and scalable tech. So we've built a seamless cross-chain interoperability with DyCIST. So think about it like you can actually mint tokens by using say XRP ledger. And XRP ledger doesn't have smart contracts; they have trust lines. But if you find probably kind of a chain where Hedera is having a decentralized exchange, and the tokens which you minted on XRP ledger, you want to kind of cross list on Hedera, you need to create a bridge, but you don't have to create it if you use DyCIST, because it's simply that you need to get the XRP ledger out and Hedera's the ledger to plug in. So this is a major kind of an issue which we resolve by DyCIST, which is kind of like getting into the challenges of making asset a chain agnostic, and that's one of the reasons that we've actually put DyCIST in place. So of course, there are multiple other benefits as well, that we have something called as global Oracle compliance, because these are securities. So securities actually changes based on the regulation of an asset which the asset belongs to. So if you think about it, that you're actually issuing any securities in the US, then you need to have certain exemptions which SEC actually has, right? Reg D 506E, Reg D 506B, Reg S exemptions. If you go to in Germany and you want to issue an asset which is based in Germany, then you need to follow BaFin regulation. So if you're following something in Dubai, then it is VARA. If you're following something in Abu Dhabi, it is ADGM. So all of these global Oracle compliance we inbuilt in our smart contract. So you don't have to add those regulations again and again if at all, if you are issuing assets in that particular jurisdiction. So if we have built a global Oracle compliance of the jurisdiction in our DyCIST standard. And one of the biggest benefit of DyCIST is that after you issuing tokens, somebody needs to buy those tokens, right? There has to be a sales side. So what we feel is that the sales side should actually consist of probably the buy side is consist of asset owners like the Alliance or GIC, or probably a broker-dealer networks like Fidelity or Charles Schwab, or these big broker-dealer networks, IRAs, financial institutions, wealth managers, pension funds, endowment funds, sovereign funds, family offices, DeFi operators, ATAs, and decentralized exchanges are actually the ones who are at buy side. So we connect them through our product called Secure Connect, which is again built on DyCIST, which are the sales side and a buy side. So which actually creates the liquidity. So that's something which is extremely important for us to understand, that this is something which is needed for any issuer who is using to tokenize any real world assets. So this is what we built under DyCIST. I know it's a long answer, but this is what.
Well, very much. I mean, you've got 4 moving parts, I believe, for DyCIST, from the Oracle, the tokenization, I believe, the liquidity. If you don't mind, can you dive in a little bit deeper on the utility that's provided, basically the 4 quadrants of DyCIST? And then, do you mind letting the audience know, this is obviously technology created and pioneered by Zoniqx. Is this patented technology? What safeguards do you have in place to protect your IP?
Yeah, we are in process of filing a patent. Actually, it's not patented yet. But yes, I mean, if you think about, I'll just kind of classify this into 4 major benefits of DyCIST. Interoperability, which supports all asset classes, all ERC standards, whether it's EVM compatible, non-EVM compatible, whether it's permissioned or permissionless chain. And of course, it does token wrapping as well. So that interoperability stands for these, support all asset classes, any EVM compatibility or non-EVM compatibility, or any permission or a permissionless chains as well. The second thing is liquidity. It connects you with the buy side, which is a notification system. DeFi, you can actually have a DeFi element as well, and liquidity connectors. So basically, it connects from the sales side and the buy side. The third and the most important is compliance, a global Oracle compliance. So we have a dynamic compliance, which is inbuilt in our smart contracts. And of course, we have an authentication and a security of all of these compliance inbuilt in that particular standard. The fourth important part is user experience. So we have a global reusable on-chain ID, which we built in DyCIST. So all of these 4 consist of the dynamic compliant interoperable security token, which is what we call it as DyCIST protocol. And this is a backbone of real world asset tokenization, because we have our own standard called ERC 7518, which is powered a protocol for cross network compliance. And that's basically what DyCIST is for. So this is our own standard, and of course it's actually filed with EIP, and which is the Ethereum Foundation, and it's already the draft stages has already been at the approval stage right now. It is not approved yet, but yes, we have already been using it. So my clients have already been using it.
Exciting. Before we talk about your clients, I want to highlight DyCIST a little bit more. Do you believe, understanding that you mentioned this is a standard and it's essentially opening up the gates for interoperability, understanding as chain agnostic, is this give me a prediction? Do you think that this is going to become a standard that's adopted by most market participants that are leaning into the tokenization space, or is this going to be working working alongside other protocols doing similar?
See, I think so. If you think about Chainlink, right? So Chainlink has got EVM compatible protocol, which is CCIP. So CCIP is actually interoperable with any of these blockchains, right? But that is only EVM focused. What we built is, and Chainlink, is also focused on NFTs or non-fungible or fungible tokens as well. What we built is focused on real world asset tokenization. So there are various protocols like ERC 1100. or ERC 3649. Which is for RWA protocols. But we've studied all these protocols for real world asset tokenization with with EVM compatible ecosystem. And what we identified is there are almost 22 more differentiators which were built on ERC 7518. So yes, we do see that there are incorporations are going to be using this ERC 7518 standard for RWA tokenization space quite widely, because it's an open standard, anyone can use it. And I believe these people are, my clients are already using it, so it's not that it is in future, it's already been done. So I think, and of course it has got most the advanced features in terms of, and the benefits of being ERC real world asset tokenization focused standard. So, and of course it's built on DyCIST. So if you want today to actually issue your tokens by using permissionless chain, which is Hyperledger, and trade those tokens on a public blockchain, so you can do that by having DyCIST protocol. So that's basically one of the benefit of DyCIST and ERC 7518.
Very exciting, and congratulations, sir. Now let's dive into those customers that you referenced. Obviously, I put them on stage or on screen a little moment ago, which I'll bring back up. Is you believe you're servicing Amazon, or you have partnerships with Amazon, Deloitte. What caliber of customers? I mean, obviously, these are some of the largest companies in the world, but who are your customers? Who do you aim to service?
So these are not our clients. Let me just put it very transparent out there. These are not our clients. These are strategic partners. So we use AWS for cloud service, right? We of course, and Deloitte, or for that matter, very specifically about PWC. So PWC selected us to be one of their tech partners for pushing our tech solutions to their own clients. So that's basically how we work our partnership with them. So even the same goes with Deloitte as well. We work on Deloitte with few of the projects which they would want us to offer our services along with their own existing clients. So we've done that as well. And these are our strategic partnerships. And these strategic partnerships gives us more benefit and outreach to reach out to the actual clients. So basically, if you see, this is our latest partnership with PWC. So what we do is we probably alternate week, PWC Global pushes us to their in their clients, and we give them the whole overview of what Zoniqx is offering. So if the client wants to actually take one of the services from Zoniqx, then we actually offer those services to PWC clients as well. So this partnerships benefits us because we have built the whole ecosystem. So in this ecosystem, there are blockchains, there are multiple blockchains because we're chain agnostic. So we believe that the chains are definitely going to be playing an extremely important role in this space, because they are the ones who are actually having this whole blockchain where one of the application which we're putting it on their chain is RWA, which is real world asset tokenization. So I think this is an important space. But yes, we work with most of these ecosystem providers because this benefits us to actually acquire more clients and give our services to them. So this is a win-win proposition for both of us.
Excellent. I'm going to bring back up this page from PwC's pamphlet. This was this is a marketing materials on Zoniqx from their tokenization digital asset program from 2024. I believe you were flown out to London, and Zoniqx was one of 11 companies that were chosen out of 700 participants. Can we talk about this exclusivity partnership and then potential strategic partnerships that you're aiming to pursue as well?
It's first, it's not an exclusive partnership, but yes, what you just said about out of 700, yes, that's the count which growth builders have actually given it to us, who actually have selected for us for PwC. So there are 700 companies are Web3 companies. This could be they could be our wallet providers, they could be blockchains, they could be payment gateways, there could be some fintechs. So there are a lot of these. So Web3, out of these companies, they've selected for real world asset tokenization, they've selected Zoniqx because because of course, the pioneer work which we have been doing it since 2017 in this space. So because it took me 3.5 years to get my first paid client, and I don't have a shame to say that, because back then even there were no regulations for us to understand how the securities could probably kind of work in the space of you doing a tokenization of real world or ownership of real world assets, right? So of course, I mean the PWC is one of the very important landmark for us in this particular year, because this opens up a lot of door for us for PWC's existing clientele. So which is something which is for us to literally go directly and approach to the institutions, and institutions today are looking at for more the adoption for real world asset tokenization, but they need not GTM, but it's speed to the market. So they need to go quickly, because if you see today's news, I mean, Build from Blackrock has actually traded almost like $500 million, so which is kind of a significant amount of the token which has been traded on the liquid fund, which is tokenized by BlackRock. So I think this is now, and more of these institutions are now going to come and adopt this technology and put their assets on chain, so that they can get more visibility in digital assets concerning real world assets. So this is what we see.
I think your strategy of partnering with one of the big four accounting firms is wonderful, because that, like you mentioned, it's putting you into a very large market, and you're using one of the reputable, as mentioned, accounting firms as almost like a springboard into their clientele and customer base. I think that's a very strategic and brilliant move. Do you mind diving into any other potential strategic partnerships that you're also aiming for?
Yeah, I mean, so as I said, we are building the whole ecosystem here. So the ecosystem consists of various blockchains. The ecosystem consists of various custodian solutions. Like Ripple has acquired a company called Metaco. Now it's a Ripple custodian. So we've already are actually integrated with them as well, because we integrated on Ripple, because Ripple is one of our XRP Ledger is one of our partner, and that partnership is a very strategic partnership for us. We've been working on it since 2 years, and it benefits both of us, because we strongly believe XRP Ledger has got a very good future in this space called real world asset tokenization. Because if you see, they already have a stable coin coming up. They have a custodian now, and they have us as a real world asset application. So if you think about it, I mean, they have all the ecosystem and XRP Ledger chain, which actually can give an end-to-end solution for any institution, because they already are a payment company. So they have XRP coin, which is already adopted by most of these big banks and financial institutions. So I think this is something which is extremely important. But yes, coming back to the ecosystem what we're building. So we are actually going to be tying up with Zodia as well, which is a Standard Chartered Bank spin-off of Zodia, which is a custodian solution. And we have different kind of alignments, which is like Defense is a company called Defense, which they are having wallet providers. So we are integrated with all of these, so that we are building an ecosystem. So any issuer comes in, and the issuer needs to have all of these ecosystems inbuilt on Zoniqx. So they don't have to go anywhere across, because they have all the ecosystem which is inbuilt within Zoniqx ecosystem.
Yeah, an end-to-end solution underpinned by your middle layer tech stack. Am I correct to say that?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably say that, yeah, because we are actually an infrastructure provider for the entire ecosystem for TALM, which is Tokenization Asset Lifecycle Management, which starts from issuing tokens by using our first product called TPAS, and then you have a DyCIST, which actually kind of gives you a benefit of interoperability in between different systems, global on-chain ID, global Oracle compliance, global liquidity distribution chains, which connects from sales side to buy side. So I think this is the whole system which we are building up within Zoniqx.
And what is attracting the conglomerates, as previously mentioned. Now, you had recently, or Ripple had recently, put out a video featuring you. It looked like an interview about the utility that Zoniqx provides to the market, and obviously highlighting the relationship or partnership between you and Ripple and the XRPL. What is it? What were those factors which influenced Zoniqx to adopt the XRPL in partnership with Ripple? And how does this collaboration redefine digital asset management for real world assets?
Yeah, I think as I said, previously, Ripple, we see a very strong partner in and offering an XRP ledger is a very strong ledger in this space, in real world asset tokenization space, because they're extremely consistent in terms of building the whole ecosystem for RWA. If you think about their acquisition of Metaco, which is a company which they've recently acquired, which is a custodian solution. Now they've rebranded as Ripple Custodian as well. And they are also going to be launching stable coins. So I think Ripple Pay USD would actually be again, instrumental in RWA space, because if you think about it, now they have stable coins, they have custodian, and they also have us. We built RWA application on their chain. So I think it's XRP Ledger in a minute. We are actually going to be live in next few weeks from now, and you would probably see some big announcements from the issuers who would like they are actually going to be going on XRP Ledger and announcing their tokenization of their assets on XRP Ledger. So I think from real world assets tokenization perspective is concerned. So I think we see XRP Ledger is one of the strongest blockchain in real world asset tokenization space, because of their very, very clear strategy in terms of they're building the whole ecosystem for moving along with the leaders in this space.
Congratulations. Would you be able to potentially provide any ballpark figures of the amount of assets or the value of assets that you aim to tokenize for these customers that you're speaking to right now?
I don't want to kind of commit on any number, but there is a significant amount which is coming out, because think about it, right? I mean, Standard Chartered has actually committed almost close to around, they projected that it's a $30.1 trillion by 2036. So which is like a 10% of our total GDP, which is an extremely significantly big amount, right? I mean, now we haven't done anything from it. There is nothing which actually has, transformed from, the physical assets to the digital assets yet. So even if we can manage to see, a slightest 1% of increase, 1% of, a contribution of real world assets, I believe there are a lot of, companies would like to, kind of have a pie in this space, because there's a huge market yet to explore. And we, of course, we being a pioneer in this space, we've done quite a significant amount as per us, but even we are not even slightly, kind of having a percentage of that particular amount, which is yet to be tokenized. So I think there's a huge, but I just wanted to tell you this, that there are a lot of interest from, different liquid assets or to illiquid asset class, from banks to tokenize, tokenization of bank deposits to, to a real estate developer who would like to tokenize, commercial real estate assets, to hotels, to strip malls, to multifamily, real estate assets. So I think there's a huge, massive, the scope which is still there.
I mean, you're opening up entirely new markets and democratizing new investment opportunities to a class of individuals that have either been underserved or never even had access to these wonderful opportunities. So thank you very much. In the introductory video, there was a quick clip by the gentleman named, I believe it was Patrick. He's from Chintai. Let me, or is it Brandon? I don't want to butcher his name. I want to be specific. But anyways, the CEO of Chintai, and he mentioned, because they're focusing more on the tokenization of real estate, and he mentioned that potentially the customer base that they will more than likely serve is your accredited investor community and up. What are your thoughts? Do you believe that that's going to be the case, or it sounds like you're ultimately going to be serving the institutional investor community?
I think I totally agree with them as well, because the reason to that is because once the institutions adopt any diversification of their investments in digital assets, which is underlying asset, could probably be real world assets, I believe we eventually see a very huge, strong a growth in the adoption of ultra HNIs or accredited investors. But the institutions should actually adopt them first, because that pushes the the adoption for the accredited investors. And this is eventually, and right now the institutions are adopting it. So I think we could probably see a very near future, we could see a huge growth in accredited investors could probably be investing in the tokens which represents the real world assets. So that's what I see. But yes, I agree that both the entities, or both the sectors, the adoption would probably happen simultaneously soon.
It's a data point that I heard in regards to how big, or the size of, of the accredited investor community worldwide, coming from the CEO of Link2, Joe Indoso. He mentioned that on a recent interview on, I think it was Fintech Mag, or regardless, he mentioned that there's 50 million potential accredited investors worldwide. But what was more fascinating was, that wealth, the wealth designations, or the amount of wealth required for the accredited investor threshold was established in 1982. So relatively, recent in comparison to the 1948 Investment Act, or Securities Act. What are your thoughts on, do you think that there's going to be a transformation or a revision in those requirements? Or do you think because Gary Gensler mentioned wanted to increase the threshold from $1 million to, I think, even tens of millions. What are your thoughts on the evolution of those requirements and for the space?
I'm probably I'm not the right person to comment on that. I'm being very honest. The reason to that is because I definitely see. So fundamentally, we are creating a different asset for this different product for an asset class, which was never existed up till today, right? So think about it, like you never had an option for even you being an accredited investor to actually invest in something which is a $10,000 and owning an ownership on Salesforce towers in San Francisco, right? Because we never had that particular product. Now, if at all, if this particular product exists today, and you being able to buy that particular $10,000 on ownership of a Salesforce towers in San Francisco, you are creating a different product, and you could probably be creating a different segment of investors altogether. So even if at all, if you increase the limit of accredited investors from $1 million to $10 million, they never had this particular product, and they would love to have a product which is there is a minimum threshold of investing. So the investment amount is not earlier like Franklin Templeton would probably be, you are investing in buying a bond which is a $250,000 and minimum investment. But today you're getting the same bond with the same return for investing $10,000. So I think I see there's going to be a huge phenomenally high growth in terms of accredited investors could probably be investing in such kind of different asset classes, because we are building a different asset classes and all together a different product. So I think for me, I only see that will be an increase in a buy side. There will be all of these accredited investors would eventually want to kind of diversify their portfolio in investing in a real estate which is which is termed as a real world asset, or probably a bond which is termed as a real world asset and in a digital asset format.
100%. And speaking from experience, potentially, or not from experience yet, but tokenized securities for the private capital markets or the private equity space. I don't want to bring up Link2's platform too much, but I want to say that they may be doing what you're mentioning, or at least considering, coming from the CEO about tokenizing these securities, or that's what they aim to do. Quick question, when you were speaking about and you referenced Salesforce in San Francisco, it just made me think, obviously you're domiciled in Menlo Park, so Northern California. What are your thoughts on, or how has your experience been starting this company here in the US? We've heard Brad Garlinghouse mention many of times where, if he could have started Ripple all over, he may have done it outside the US. What are your thoughts? Are you sharing the similar pains as the team at Ripple, or?
Okay, so we being in Silicon Valley, of course there is the technology adoption and innovation it happens here. So I'm pretty much okay in terms of what we've been, our experiences so far. And I believe in the space from our point of view, from Zoniqx, we built the technology and we offer technology as a solution. So I think from our standpoint, we take care of that, the technology aspect of it, and that's one of the reasons that we've been seeing, when the technology innovation growth happens, and the institutions are adopting it in the same space, the same pace. I believe our experience is pretty good up till today. But I've been seeing a lot of adoption happening from the regulations perspective in different countries as well, like in Europe or in Gulf, in Dubai, and all these places. But I think this is something which is our experience is pretty good at this point of time. Yeah.
Good for you. I'm glad to hear that. That's motivating and exciting to hear. Question now, let's talk about some of the challenges that you've been experiencing, or at least in your industry. Moving value requires particular licenses, and as you mentioned, you also have to be able to navigate the potential securities landscape in case, more specifically in regards to the private capital markets. What are your challenges that you see your competitors facing, which puts Zoniqx not just on a pedestal, but ahead of the curve, driving the adoption of real-world asset tokenization? Because I really want you to double down on the licenses and as mentioned, your understanding for the various requirements or designations in order to invest in these in this sector. You mentioned the Reg A, Reg D, Reg B. I mean, you need to be familiar of this securities landscape in order to penetrate and thrive.
I think from Zoniqx perspective, we are a tech company, so we build solutions, and we build solutions based on the requirement of from an issuer. So of course, if you are an issuer for your own asset, you basically have to follow the exemptions, which because these are securities, you need to follow the exemptions, which are there already in the format which has already been executed for any such kind of an issuance. So we don't get into that space, because the issuer needs to have those those legal opinions and advices from the legal attorneys, and then they come to us, and they once they have the structure built for their own issuance, they just have to simply take Zoniqx and Zoniqx solutions to actually mint their tokens. So for us, we do not. I don't want to comment on the the licenses which the issuer or the broker dealer would probably be they require, because it's completely their own lookout. But for Zoniqx, it's we don't because we are a completely technology solution providers. We don't require to be to get exposed to those such kind of licenses.
Well, that's relieving for you then.
I mean, I would rather say it's any technology company. What's their challenge, right? So the challenge is the adoption from the buyers and the adoptions from the sellers. This is what the challenge. So if you ask me about my challenges, yes, my challenges are like this, because the adoption was very slow when we started. Now, since past couple of years or couple of quarters, probably it has significantly increased a lot. And because of BlackRock has actually put this particular fund, liquid fund, and it's been trading really good. So I think and most of the companies are now coming up and they are actually pushing their assets to get it tokenized. So I think these are what our challenges are. So the adoption is something which I wish if it expedited like really fast.
A challenge for me in starting my own operations is knowing my value, knowing my worth, and knowing what to charge potential customers. Curious to know what has influenced your team to, I believe you guys have a tiered pricing program or structure. Is there anything that you could speak upon in regards to how you guys founded your tiered pricing structure?
Yeah, I mean, we are a SaaS company, so we charge on a SaaS front. So we charge an onboarding fee, and we charge a SaaS fee. So we are typically, this is the only charge which we have in terms of, the for an issuer is concerned. So would we make sure that an issuer would actually put any asset class, irrespective of any asset class, provided they have the understanding of the legal framework of their structuring or securities, we put those assets on chain in 48 hours. So that's exactly what speed to the market is for us, right? And for an issuer as well, because see why issuer would actually kind of think about moving their the real world assets to on chain, because there are a lot of benefits which they get along with it, and that's one of the reason that we see that the pricing structure and and again let's consider this for sure, that it's the issue in this space is not about that you are completely aware of this whole ecosystem. It's the adoption from institutions and from the sales side or a buy side both. So I think we've been seeing this happening really fast now, and that's one of the reasons that we made this particular pricing structure affordable and competitive, so that they should not have any issues of putting their assets on chain in time or in the pricing perspective. So we do have the tier approach based on certain AOP, what we call it as an asset on platform. We charge the clients, but the only fee what we charge is an onboarding fee and a SaaS fee.
Wonderful. I want to actually go back to your comment in regards to that speed to market. You mentioned 48 hours, which I'd like you to do a comparison to what may be already traditionally in the market, so we can help frame to the audience why this is a significant change to the business model fundamentally for issuing securities.
I think the fundamental thing out there in this space is that you need to have the whole ecosystem ready, so that you can not only tokenize the assets, but you can also have the whole ecosystem in terms of having your own custodian or a self custodian or a third party custodian. All of these is already been inbuilt in our our own TLM, tokenization asset lifecycle management. So you don't have to actually kind of again add a custodian once you're there on Zoniqx ecosystem. So it's already there. So you just have to pick in and select which of the the custodian you would want to opt for. The other thing is, think about it that you as an issuer, you know that once you know that the regulation which you need to follow, you just have to select the regulations, which is if it is Reg D 506C, Reg D 506B, or Reg S issuances. You just have to select, and the regulations rules would get applied to the issuance. So it's literally a plug and play, and and it's very easy for anybody to use the system, because what we built is a low code no code platform. So people who actually use this system, they shouldn't be aware of all of these the technology kind of issues to deal with it or to operate it. So this is the most easiest system which we actually worked on it. Of course, we spent almost 5 to 6 years on this space to to come up with this kind of a product and an interface, and the UI interface is the most easiest ever. So that's, again, these are certain features which we see that we've been we haven't seen anywhere else, and that's one of the reasons that, because think about it, like a real estate developer don't even have an idea about how to open a wallet, right? I mean, like, why but there are a lot of easiest thing which we have done. You just have to from your Google link, you can open a wallet, and on a cloud, the wallet would actually get opened, and you don't even have to come to know that you actually are opening a wallet, right? So there are a lot of these kind of things which are features of Zoniqx, which we have built, which is quite very easy for anybody, any issuer of any level, to actually understand and operate.
Wonderful. We've got about 15 minutes left of the call, Sanjeev. So I want to make use of this time thinking about forward-looking statements and things that are potentially happening in the market that others may not be aware of or be conscious of. And what I mean by that is, and to bring up again the interview between Raoul Pal, and his name was David Packham, the CEO of Chantai. He mentions that in result to tokenization, the next thing that may result because of that is a decentralized identity layer that may occur in the next few years because, as mentioned, because of tokenization. What are your thoughts on that? There's players in the space like Global ID and others that are pioneering this identity solution that I believe is baked into the framework of the internet itself. What are your thoughts on this decentralized identity layer or this new potential solution?
I think this is an excellent solution to work on it as an ecosystem within the ecosystem, because, as I said, right, I mean, we actually tie up with multiple of such kind of ecosystem providers, and we build the whole ecosystem for RWA. So I think adding all the multiple solutions from different entities would always actually make RWA very stronger and make it very affordable for all of us to use it from the issuer's perspective, because we see this is a space where this is an evolving space. So even from what we built is not what we say that okay, it's already been kind of okay, probably it's 70-80% been done, but every day there's a new thing is happening in Web3, right? And we need to actually, that's one of the reasons that what we've decided to be on the technology side of it, because somebody has to be concentrated only on the tech side of it to cope up with this new innovations which are happening on literally on a weekly basis. So we need to keep adding those ecosystem partners. What you just said is something which is extremely unique. Of course, we need to have this, because once you have these the different partners in place, I think it would benefit the issuer for a long run, because they need all of these ecosystems to be built in one ecosystem called TALM, which is Tokenization Asset Lifecycle Management. And that's one of the reasons that when we say this, that when the issuer actually puts in any assets, they today think about it like when you're buying a ticket on Kayak or Expedia, there are a lot of things happens on the back end, but they give you the best rate for that particular airfare to be displayed on your on your searches. But there are so many things happens at the back end, right? So it's the same goes to the issuer as well. When issuer puts the asset on chain, when they tokenize the assets, there are a lot of things that are happening on the whole ecosystem. They get connected with the wallet providers. They get connected with the custodians out there. They have multiple blockchains to we work with. So I think this whole ecosystem would actually add a lot of value if you see all these companies coming together and offering this as a product in this TLM ecosystem.
I love to hear that. Very exciting. Now, and thank you for diving into that question, because ultimately that piqued my interest, and I started looking more into that whole decentralized identity solution. But knowing some of those market participants, I was just curious to know, maybe there's a there. If is Zoniqx potentially pursuing any relationships with entities that are pioneering that decentralized identity solution, or is that something that you aim to even add to your own tech stack and build from within?
No, we if it is already been built, we would love to have a tie with them, right? I mean, this is how we actually see this ecosystem. That's one of the reasons that we have these strategic partnerships with the entities such of these cards, like say defense for that matter. We have defenses, they are wallet providers, so we integrated with them as well. We integrated with custodian called Zodia, which we are actually doing it right now. So we put those custodian solution in our system. So it's a win-win for us, because they offer the service to our issuer, and the issuer actually gets benefited because they have a custodian solution from Zodia. So I think it's already as I said, right, I mean, it's what is important for us is speed to the market. So if the product has already been built, we would rather take that product and have a strategic partnership with them to offer it in our own ecosystem. So that's basically how it works, and that's one of the reasons that the strategic alliances matters a lot for all of us, because we add those strategic alliance and then make it as a big ecosystem, so that the issuer doesn't have to go anywhere. They can get everything in that one ecosystem.
On the topic of following on this topic, Sanjeev, any potential product releases or other upgrades upcoming on the roadmap or the road ahead?
Yeah, we are quite excited about our V3, and this V3 which we are actually about to launch in this particular month, and which has got a different interface altogether. We have different new features like payout features in terms of if somebody wants to kind of think about it, like you have a you have a real estate asset and you are actually it's already been leased, so it's a pre-leased asset, and you're somebody is buying those tokens to of this particular ownership of that particular asset. You can actually give them the dividends or payouts on a weekly basis or yearly or a monthly basis. We have those systems for already been defined in the payout features. So I think, and of course we have a different layout altogether for a V3. So I think we are extremely excited about our new launch, and you could probably see that in next by probably 25th of this month, we will be launching a V3 there.
Very cool. Get some early insights on what's coming down the pike for you guys as you're staring down the barrel of a $18 trillion market. good.
Yes, that's an exciting figure. I mean, I'm being very honest. It's like and it excites all of us, right? Because there's nothing has been done in this space yet, from conversions of this particular assets to real world assets. So I think definitely, and most of these reports have been coming in now. The latest report from Standard Chartered Bank says actually is $30.1 trillion. So I think that's an exciting figure for all of us to kind of look into it. So yeah, I mean, it's an exciting.
Yeah, I just put up on the screen here a bullet point from a recent article shared from a community member, and thank you very much for the individual who did just before hopping on this call. But they mentioned that, or in the article by Medium, it identified that obviously BlackRock and McKinsey were leading the charge, but BlackRock was intending to invest $10 trillion into the RWA tokenization sector. Is that just the first of many, do you believe?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. I mean, this is and I definitely understand BlackRock's point of view as well, because if you think about it, right, BlackRock has got one of the biggest illiquid asset, right, which is real estate on their balance sheet as well. And of course, I mean, if they start making it liquid, I think that makes a lot of sense as well, because and they have one of the best assets on their balance sheet. So I think buying probably a BlackRock's those illiquid assets, which is real estate, which is handpicked by them in fractions, would love to, any investor would love to, kind of buy them, right? So I think such kind of an assets, and the expertise, now we are actually going to be, getting it and as an access for a new product which is coming up. So extremely excited about this space for this.
Well, with our dollar getting inflated and the price ticket on real estate, that might be the only way for someone like me to get exposure to real estate. I'm kidding, but ultimately, kudos to you, and really excited to see the future, the growth potential for Zoniqx. Last question before I let you go here, Sanjeev. Another forward-looking statement. What impact do you foresee Zoniqx technology having on the global financial market, and what do you think is going to take? It's going to take to get Zoniqx to that next level of growth phase?
As I said, I mean, we offer end-to-end TLM solutions. So we are already working on one of the biggest central bank for a POC of tokenization of bank deposits. So we already have a validation of our tech, what we built, right? And that's one of the reasons that we see that we are at the front, at this space in terms of, offering what we already been built and which has already been validated by, the issuers. So I think we see this space, unfolding pretty soon in terms of the adoption is concerned. It's already happening right now. And what Zoniqx has built is, it's extremely unique in nature in terms of, the interoperability, liquidity, global on-chain ID, global Oracle compliance. All these features in one particular standard offered by Zoniqx is something which is definitely a very easy acceptance for any institutions to actually, have a take Zoniqx solution and just speed to the market, just increase that speed to the market to execute those, assets on chain. It's very easy for them. And that's exactly what I see, or we see this, with Zoniqx. And we are definitely consistently, innovating all these new innovations which are happening in Web3 space, but in perspective of real world asset tokenization. So extremely excited to be in this space for this. And this is what we see that, the future is going to be unfolding for all of us together.
Congratulations to you and your firm, Sanjeev. I believe your team is highlighted here on your website. So you got the Prasanth Kalanji, founder and CEO, yourself as the CBO, Aaron Duda, strategic advisor, Nagaraja Kumar Devi, senior advisor, and then Shefali Sharma, lead marketing manager. You know, one of the greatest fundamentals is the leadership team for any of these any company. Is there any highlights that you'd like to speak upon for these employees or your team before you take off?
Yeah, I mean, any fundamental thing for any company is the team, right? I mean, the team makes the biggest, companies, I believe. I've been just fortunate enough to have such a wonderful team with us, and of course the advisors and strategic advisors to the team colleagues of ours. Prashant is the one who actually founded this company back in 2017. 2016 he had an idea and he started working on it to build this whole platform. And he came to me when I was speaking in one of the real estate conference in Dallas. And he said, "Hey, what you spoke is possible, and I've been already working on it." And this is how we started, kind of this company together as founders. And I think the biggest the strength of us is this team. This team has been there with us since almost 3 to 4 years now. And I think and of course we are enjoying. Of course, what you could probably see is besides this, there are almost 22 more people out there. So everybody is actually putting everything for this company in terms of making it happen. The validations which we are actually getting into the market today. So I think there's a lot happening on the background as well. But yeah, I mean, I just want to say that I'm fortunate enough to be there in this space at this point of time with such a wonderful team and moving along with this space and learning every day about this innovation which we are doing it together.
Good for you. I love to hear that camaraderie and the passion as a collective, because that's what it's going to take to take Zoniqx really to the next level and then also maintain that status. With 3 minutes left, anything that we haven't discussed yet that you'd like to share with the audience, or any final comments, notes?
I mean, just follow us on Zoniqx. We have an excellent content coming in from LinkedIn and from X. If you think about it, like you want to learn any basics about even basics to advance, or whatever is related to real world asset tokenization, because we have a lot of archives. We have huge information database with us. We have a lot of validations which we have done for most of the use cases, from real estate to a private billionaires club to a tokenization of bank deposits to bond issuances. I think so. If you can follow us, you would probably learn a lot of stuff from real world asset tokenization and how Zoniqx is actually putting all this together. So I think you could probably follow me on Sanjeev as Birari, or you can follow us on Zoniqx on LinkedIn actually. So because that's also something where because we are putting literally every day we are pushing. Shefali is our marketing lead, pushing a lot of stuff. Like every alternate day, you can see some stuff coming in from real world asset tokenization. So if you follow Zoniqx on LinkedIn, you would probably come to know about a lot of stuff which is happening as we speak. So yeah, I mean, here you go. If you can see Zoniqx page out there, you would probably see a lot of content which is primarily actually related to RWA tokenization space. You would actually be keep informed yourself about if you follow us. So that's exactly what I need to talk about it.
And then also when they go to your LinkedIn page, they'll see how busy you've been as a C-suite executive for Zoniqx. You were you spoke at Consensus, you spoke at XRP or Apex, Ripple's Apex Summit. You spoke at Paris Blockchain Week. You flew out to PWC for their London headquarters, and that's just a few of the conferences or endeavors that you've been pursuing in, I would say, in the last couple quarters. So good for you, Sanjeev. I appreciate you making your time and hopping on today's call. I know my community really, really appreciates you hopping up. So I'm going to take you off the screen here. And if you don't mind just staying on the call for one more minute. I'm going to just close things down, and then I'd love to just pick your brain before I let you go here. But thank you again for joining, sir. Really appreciate you, and congrats on your success at Zoniqx.
Thank you so much, Ray. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. All righty, guys. Well, if you thought today's content was impactful, please make sure to smash the like and subscribe buttons, as it really helps me lift the channel off the ground. If you have any questions for me or Sanjeev, feel free to leave your questions in the comment section below. I'll be back this coming Tuesday, July 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with another live stream featuring Versan Aljura of Black Swan Capital. And then Thursday, July 18th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'll have Jay Combo, founder and CEO of Spend the Bits, a cryptocurrency payment mobile app built on the XRPL as well, right alongside Zoniqx. Both interviews are great follow-ups to today's topic of conversation. So with that being said, thank you all for stopping by and sharing your time with us. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Love you mucho. Thank you so much.